China, meanwhile, was dredging reefs into fortresses. Massive runways appeared across the Spratlys, 3,000 meters long, built on reclaimed sand with concrete strength. Every year the gap widened. Every year the danger grew. The Philippines still had the flag, but without a runway, the flag had no lifeline. The truth was undeniable. Neglect had pushed Pagasa to the edge of collapse. Something had to give, and in 2015, the world shifted, forcing Manila to act. So what changed after 2015 that turned decay into urgency? By 2014, the Spratly Islands were no longer just reefs and sandbars. China had begun dredging the sea and pouring concrete where waves once broke. In only a few years, 3 massive 3,000-meter runways rose from the water on Fiery Cross Reef, Mischief Reef, and Subi Reef. It was a transformation no one thought possible. Where coral had once shimmered, now stood fortresses of steel and air power. And Subi Reef, just 22 kilometers from Pagasa, became the most dangerous of all. It was now a full military airbase. Runways for bombers, shelters for fighter jets, radars that could see across the sea, and missiles that could strike within minutes. For the Philippines, it was like building a house under the shadow of a growing castle. Filipino pilots flying toward their own outpost began hearing voices on the radio. "This is Chinese territory. Leave immediately." The warnings cut through the static, a reminder that even in their own skies, they were being watched. An island meant to defend sovereignty now sat directly in the enemy's shadow. Every crack in Rancudo airfield was no longer just decay, it was vulnerability. Without a proper runway, Pagasa could not be reinforced, could not be supplied, could not be defended. The question was simple: rebuild or lose the island. Manila's leaders knew the clock was running out, and by 2020, after decades of waiting, the first steps toward a rebuild finally began. But how did Manila turn years of neglect into a project of survival? The truth was simple. Before the Philippines could rebuild Rancudo airfield, it first had to solve a different problem: logistics. For decades, every bag of cement, every steel beam, and every generator for Pagasa Island had to be airlifted or dropped at sea. Storms scattered supplies, boats capsized, and engineers often worked with half of what they needed. By 2017, Manila realized, without a port, a new runway was impossible. So the plan shifted. First came a beaching ramp, a structure that would allow heavy ships to unload directly onto the island. It was backbreaking work. Storm surges hammered the site. Chinese vessels circled, sometimes blaring warnings over loudspeakers. And Filipino engineers, under constant pressure, kept working. Every concrete block laid felt like an act of defiance. By 2019, progress was visible. A new causeway stretched into the sea. By 2020, barges could finally deliver cargo without fear of being washed away. And by 2021, the port was nearly complete. For the first time in history, Pagasa could sustain heavy construction. This wasn't just infrastructure, it was survival. With the port built, Manila had finally laid the foundation for the biggest gamble yet. The gamble of turning a broken coral strip into a 2,500-meter military-grade runway. But here was the question that haunted every planner in Manila. Could the Philippines really finish a full military runway in the middle of the Spratlys, under the shadow of China's fortresses? The answer would soon shake the balance of the West Philippine Sea. In the early months of 2023, the gamble finally turned real. On Pagasa Island, workers began pouring the first slabs of concrete across the old coral strip. For decades, pilots had landed on a fragile runway that threatened to crumble under their wheels. Now, for the first time, a true foundation was taking shape. Each truckload of cement felt like a milestone. Each stretch of reinforced surface was a promise that the Philippines would not abandon this island. When the first C-130 touched down on the fresh concrete, it wasn't just a landing. It was proof that soldiers could finally trust the ground beneath them. No more bouncing across eroded coral. No more praying wheels didn't shatter on touchdown. This was permanence. And yet, this was only phase 1. The airstrip was still short, still vulnerable. Across the horizon, just 22 kilometers away, Chinese aircraft already trained their radars on every move. Each meter of concrete poured was watched, logged, and shadowed. The island had become a stage where two nations measured each other's will, and the ocean itself added pressure. Waves chewed at the foundations, storms delayed shipments. It became a race between erosion and construction, a struggle to see whether the island would rise stronger or collapse faster. Still, by the end of 2023, the work had changed the island's fate. The first expansion was done, but whispers began of something greater, an extension that would finally match China's military-grade airstrips. And the world waited, because the next move would decide more than a runway. It would decide if the Philippines could stand its ground in the Spratlys. So what happened when the final extension was declared in 2025? In 2025, the long wait ended. The armed forces of the Philippines announced what no one thought possible. The runway extension on Pagasa was 100% complete. What began as a crumbling coral strip was now a 2,500-meter airfield, lined with reinforced concrete. But the changes didn't stop with length. A new hangar rose beside the strip. A control tower overlooked the waters, and modern lighting systems meant the island could finally host landings by day or night. For the first time in half a century, Pagasa felt like a true base, not a forgotten outpost. Soldiers could breathe easier, supplies could flow smoother, and the flag on the island no longer felt fragile. This was not just survival, it was permanence. At 2,500 meters, Rancudo Airfield had become the longest Philippine military runway in the Spratlys, a milestone that changed the map. But with new power came a new question. The milestone on Pagasa did not stand alone. Behind the island's new runway was a backbone, one built by allies. Through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, the United States Navy hardened the lifeline that Pag-asa needed to survive. In Oyster Bay, Palawan, a new repair hub was built, ready to service ships and aircraft bound for the West Philippine Sea. In Quezon, Palawan, another support site emerged, stacking logistics closer to the front line. And at Balabac Island, a 3-kilometer runway stretched across the south, long enough for U.S. bombers, tankers, and Philippine transports alike. Together, these sites formed more than bases. They formed a chain. From Palawan to Pagasa, every link strengthened the reach of the Philippines. The runway on Pagasa was no longer an isolated strip. It was connected to a web of power that spanned seas. And for the first time, soldiers on the island felt the weight of an alliance at their back. They were not alone. Every slab of concrete poured on Pagasa was now tied to Washington's guarantee and Manila's resolve. Even with ports, bases, and runways, the true meaning of this strip was not just in stone or asphalt. Its secret lay deeper, a reason why Beijing studies every satellite image, every landing, every meter. Because this was not just about defending an island, it was about shifting the balance of power in the South China Sea. So what is the secret behind why this runway truly shakes Beijing? The secret of the Pagasa runway is not just in the sound of engines, it is in the language of law. Under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, only islands that sustain civilian life can claim a territorial sea and an exclusive economic zone. And Pagasa Island does exactly that. It is not just a military outpost. It has residents, families, even children in classrooms. But those lives can only endure if supplies and services reach them. And that requires a runway. Every slab of concrete poured on Pagasa secures not just soldiers, but sovereignty. Every meter finished is another line drawn against China's 9-dash line. Because without a functioning airfield, the island risks isolation. Without isolation, China's claim grows stronger. But with a runway, Pagasa becomes a living island, a base of law as much as defense. The runway does more than carry planes, it carries the flag. It guarantees that when the Philippines says this is ours, it is backed not only by force, but by international law. The battle here is not only military, it is legal, it is political, it is existential. Because in the West Philippine Sea, survival is not measured just in missiles or ships. It is measured in whether an island can prove it is alive. So what does this secret tell us about the future of the West Philippine Sea? The runway on Pagasa is not only steel and stone. It is Manila's legal sword against Beijing. For decades, it looked like nothing more than a crumbling coral strip. But in 2025, it became something far greater, a sovereignty machine. Every meter of concrete declares to the world, this island is alive, this nation is present, this sea is defended. Because in international law, presence equals power. Without it, rights vanish. With it, even a small island becomes a fortress of law. What seemed like an airfield for planes is actually a lifeline for a nation on a patch of reef. Supply drop. Every soldier who steps onto that island declares one truth. The Philippines is present, and presence is power. But the question remains, how long can this presence hold against the shadow of China's power? This battle is not only about islands, it is about the future of Asia's seas. For more deep dives into the untold battles shaping our region, subscribe now. And tell us in the comments, do you believe the Philippines can hold Pag-asa? Or is this fight only beginning?